Hello. Good afternoon, guys.
Hello, sir.
Good
Very
afternoon.
good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon to you all. 32 participants. Hmm. Okay, I think it is 12:46. Sorry, 12:16. So yesterday we have discussed about decision making and branching. Guys, am I audible to you all?
Sir,
Okay. Okay, yesterday, as I told you, we have seen decision making and branching such as if else, and nested if else ladder, with the syntax and flowchart. All these things we have seen. Is that screen shared? Is it screen visible to you all, guys?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Okay. Uh, nested if else ladder, then the switch statement we have seen yesterday. And then we have seen how this falls through is supported in C, C++, Java, whereas it is not supported in C hash, and how can we overcome? By using this go to statement, we can achieve that. Very simple, straightforward material is available with you. You can watch it later if you find any confusion as such, no problem. And one more thing, the decision making and branching. This is also conditional operator, ternary operator acts as decision making and branching construct. So this is all about decision making and branching, whereas we are simply studying about decision making and looping iterates. Okay, looping, that is iterations here. The C hash provides four constructs for permitting loop operation. So loop in the sense these two statements which are repeatedly executing more than once. So if the same statement is made to be executed for more than once, then that statement, those statements are called as iterative statements. Here, these statements are known as iterations or looping statements. So I have here four looping constructs here or statements supported by C sharp. Okay. So how many students admitted? Only 36. Done. The while statement, do while statement, for statement, and for each. So one more new thing we come across, that is for each. So I think this while loop you have studied, do while you have studied in C program and Java, for statement is known to us. So now we come across one more new thing, that is for each statement. So about these four decision making and looping or iterative statements we are going to discuss. So now I have prepared one small table here where the first column is going to give you the syntax of that particular statement, such as say for example we have to discuss about while statement. So while, how it is written. So here initialization is very important. You have to initialize one variable. I is equal to one. One variable you have to initialize. That is called as a counter. A counter. How many times this loop body is to be executed? That you have to count it here. So initially, suppose I is equal to one. I have to execute this body of a loop for 10 times. So I is less than or equal to 10. That condition I put here. While अंदर जब तक I का वैल्यू 10 से कम हो या इक्वल हो तब तक तुम ये काम करो करते रहो. Okay. And moreover, after initialization, inside here, I think you have to increment that value. Increment. Elevator, increment the counter. Okay, this is what. Okay, in this body only, you have to increment that counter. You have to initialize the counter here. You can write it as a counter. Counter. Okay. And then after initialize the counter, here I put a condition. So initialization, conditional statement, and some statements, maybe more than statements, but there should be one more statement, that is increment the counter. You have to increment it. I is equal to 1, I is less than is equal to 10. Here inside somewhere you have to increment it. If you don't increment here, this condition is always true. If you don't increment or decrement inside, it may be increment or decrement, depends on the requirement. So you end up with what? An infinite looping here. You end up with an infinite, because this condition always true. I is less than is equal to I is equal to 1. I is less than is equal to 10. There are some statements I write here. I skip this statement. So again, while what happens, it comes and check the condition here. Condition is tested. Again, 1 is less than 10. Condition is true. Enter into the block. Execute this. This increment decrement statement, you have skipped it here. Forgotten. What happens? As long as the condition is true here, while it'll do that, it makes the control comes back and check the condition. So this condition holds true for all the time. Therefore, these body of statements will be executed infinite number of times. So your system hangs here. Okay, infinite. So therefore, while statement is very dangerous here. You have to use it very carefully. So therefore, before while or body, you have to initialize, and then in while, this is the keyword. In this, you have to write down a condition depending on the requirement. Then statements, but after that, there should be an increment or decrement statement should be there. So this is how you can read this here. While is an entry control. Okay, before entering into the body of a loop here, you are going to control the statements. If it condition is true, then you enter into the body. This is the body. So entry control. Okay, before entering into that, you are going to control here. Take a control. If it is true, then only enter. If it is false, you should not enter the block here. Starting from here, the CPU is going to skip all these statements here. The condition of while loop is evaluated first. As I told you, initialization done, the condition is tested. If the condition is true, then the body of the loop is executed. After the execution of the body, the condition is again evaluated. And if it is true, the body is again executed once again. As I told you, condition is true, execute this. Again, control automatically come back and check the condition here, because the condition was true before. Now, new condition is tested. If that condition is true, enter into the block, again do some activities. Okay, then again come. So as long as this condition is true here, you will be keep on executing this as a loop, iterative statements. Okay. So once this condition falls here, that time what happens? You will skip this block and go to the next line statements here. Okay. Statement which are present after this while block will be executed. The process of execution of a body continues until the condition finally becomes false and control is transferred out of the loop here. So this is how. One simple example here. This is the first C# program here. One program we have done, that is Hello World. Hello World program, we have seen some body skeleton of the panda. The same way we follow here. Using system, this is the namespace. You have to include this here, like how you include stdio.h, include conio.h. Like that, header file should be included here to support for reading and printing something on the screen. Okay. The same way, using system is a namespace which is consisting of, it's a base class here, in that all the objects classes are defined here by default internally with the compiler. So therefore, you have to include this. Here, about this using what is the principal directive, what is the system, everything I discussed in first class. You can just open it and see it here. No need to go in much detail. But in the first unit, you have to study in detail what is this using, what exactly it will do, what is this namespace, what is this system is all about. Okay, this is the keyword. Here it is all small case, whereas just is made capital here. Okay, it's the namespace. Now everything is written in a class. Therefore, in C#, I have to write what class, some name of the class here. I give program. Okay, one name I give here. Okay, program. And in this class here, as I told you, there is a main here. Main is written in capital, M is capital letter, then inside this. You can write it or you may skip it. And usually it's a practice writer arguments. About this all we have discussed in the first class. You just open it and see, no worry here. This is a return type and this is a static type. Okay, done. Inside here I have declared one variable, I is equal to 1. This is called the initialization. Okay, then here is the condition. It's condition. As long as this condition is true, These statements will be kept on executing. So these are iterative statements here. So these statements will be executed more than one depending on this condition here. Therefore, this is the iterative statement. So initialization is done, condition expression is done. Now control automatically checks here, compiler checks. Or CPU check this here, logical unit, logical unit checks here. I, the value of I is 0. 0 is 0 less than or equal to 5? Yes, of course. 0 is less than 5. Condition is true. So you are going to allow into this here. So plus I. Okay. Is it plus I? Am I? It is just an increment. This is the pre-increment. So the value of I was 0. Before printing it here, I print it, I increment and then print. 1 is printed here. Okay. So I can use here, this is concatenation. Plus symbol you have to use concatenation. This is a new line. Okay. So the value of I was incremented. This is pre-increment. It was 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. Then it is displayed. Before displaying, it is incremented. That is pre-increment. If I write here I plus plus, here, first what happened? First, what happen is I value is printed, then it is incremented. 0 is printed. So therefore, I don't want to print 0. I want to make it 1 here. Therefore, I just write it here. Or else you can start it from 1 here, no problem. You just start it from 1. Okay. Anyway, so this is a concatenation symbol. This you have to use here. This is displayed and this are concatenated, clubbed together, and this is happen. /n. Special character here, operator, you have seen. Is put into a double quote, and maybe it is single quote, double quote, I don't know exactly. Okay, double quote, right? It is enclosing single quote. Okay, not only double quote, merely. Okay, it is a string here, done. Now, here I have made it comment line. So you can include here or you can just write it one more statement, that is control light line. So this you can write it here. Okay. Right line. Here this is right is not a line is not. It prints everything on the same line. If this is missed, okay, you will understand. So now to print something on the screen, console dot write, this you have to use here. And here, write is a built-in function supported by, this is the function supported by console object. Okay. Object here. Or I can say it is a class here, object dot function. So these are all built-in, available in this system here. Only have to invoke them. So if you do invoke them, write function, automatically displays something on the screen. So here, the difference between write in the sense it displays and keeps the cursor on the same line. If I don't include this here, everything will be displayed on the same line. Is it right? But if I want to print next line automatically, I just want to do, I can just write here. I print here plus plus I and then concatenation. So this I remove. Finish. So instead of writing this line, I can simply write this line. Okay, no problem. One the same. Automatically, this line is going to bring you the next line. Here you see, first line is capital. The first letter is capital. Again, first letter is capital. Console dot write. In the second here also, it is capital. By practicing, you understand. Console dot write line. C is capital, W is capital, L is capital. So all these built in here, first letter is made capital. And this is the convention. You have to understand. Okay, done. So here I just commented here because I have already incremented here in this. I have incremented here. Therefore, I don't want this. Simple logic. So now condition is I is equal to 0. 0 is less than 5. Condition is true. Plus plus 1 is printed. Next line. 1 is less than 5. Yes. Now 2 is printed. Again control comes back. 2 is less than 5. Is it right? Condition is true. Again 2 is incremented by 1. 3 is printed. Is 3 less than 5? Yes, 3 is less than 5. It is incremented. 4 is printed. Okay, is 4 less than is equal to 5? Yes. Okay, 4 is incremented 5. 5 is printed. Now, is 5 is less than is equal to 5? Yes. 6 is there. So, now 6 it is, therefore I remove it here. Equal to symbol. What happens? What will the output if I do like this? You just verify. If I put equal to, what is the output? If I remove this equal to, what will be the output? You just analyze it. Okay, that's all. So now, after printing all this here, once this condition is false here, it remains 6. That time will come out here. So this is the read line. Console.read line, write line. Okay, this is as acting as a printf statement. This is acting as a get character ch in your C program. Okay, to stay the display screen stable on the monitor. Unless and until a user presses a key here, the information is displayed on the screen. You can watch that. If you remove this here, if you comment it here, the information is displayed on the screen. You cannot observe it here. It flickers and goes off. Okay, it is very fast. Therefore, you have to keep that output readable to the people, the person who is writing. This read line is used here. It is waiting for a key to be pressed by the user. That. So this is how in a class called a program, main is written. In that main variable is declared while statement, condition, initialization, then looping construct. In that increment is there. And after that, I read it and close this main here. Main starts, it ends here. While it starts, it ends here. Therefore, indentation is very important here. Indentation. This opening closing should be on same line. This opening and closing should be on the same line. This opening, okay, you should match it here. Then finish. This is how what we call it as while construct work here, iterative statement. So now first program I have explained in detail, and maybe second program, third program I probably may not explain in detail because you understand it later. ये क्या मास्टर बक रहे ऐसे तुम बोलोगे हाँ? Anyway, first experience my duty to explain it here. Maybe second experiment you will understand. Do statement, one more. Okay, while is over, do and while. So that is the entry control where it is exit control. Exit in the sense you are going to control, take a condition here at the end here. End in the sense exit. Control is coming out here. So therefore, here also the same thing. Initialization is there, and body of a loop statement. There is might be increment, decrement statement will be there, and then here at the end here you are checking condition. Okay, the exit while executing you are testing condition. Therefore, this body of a loop statement will be executed at least once, irrespective of the condition. Okay, therefore it is called as exit control. Previously, entry control. Before entering, you are going to control whether the statement is to be iterative statement is to be executed or you are taking control condition tested before. Therefore, while is an exit control loop statement, in while statement condition is checked first before executing the body of a loop. But in do while is first condition is first execute body is executed and the condition is checked after the body. The condition is true, then the body is executed once again. Process of execution of the body continues until the condition finally becomes false and control transferred out of the loop. So same thing here, only thing the exit control, that's all. So this body will be executed at least once because we are testing the condition at the end. That's the only difference here. This is the exit control, that is the entry control. And one more important thing here is there is a comma, semicolon you have to put here. Terminate, it's semicolon. Whereas in a while loop, you should not put a semicolon. If you put a semicolon here, so it is body will be dead here. Okay, this opening closing brace will not carry any sense. Okay, therefore you should not while looping construct don't put semicolons, colons here. Okay, if you put that, it is acting as a terminating. So irrespective of the condition, whether it is true or false, you are terminating here. You are not allowed the CPU to enter into the block here. It is going to close. Therefore, in entry control while loop, there should not be any semicolon. Whereas in exit control, that is do while, there is a semicolon mandatory at an end of this. It should be here it ends here. One more similar statement here. I just do here on similar program initialization do while and here semicolon. That's all. Now the same thing. Plus minus. Okay. Plus I just print it here. Plus in the sense concatenation. Previous value and second value will be concatenated. Then will be displayed on the screen. 0 is printed here first. 0 is printed, then value of I is incremented here. Okay. Instead of plus plus here, I have specially written here I is equal to I plus 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 is less than 5. Yes. Okay. 1 is printed. Now 2. 2 is less than 5. 2 is printed. 3. So like that, all these output will be displayed on the screen here. Once I value crosses this 5, that is once the value of I equals 6, that time this condition become false here. So the meantime, all from 0 to 5 will be printed. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once the value of 5 crosses this 6 here, this condition violates here. I is less than 6. It is false. 6 is less than 5. It is false. That time we display the meantime. I can see the result on the screen because it has been displayed by the console.write line. So write line, it is a function here. Is it right? So in that function, this function is available in console. Console in this is monitor, keyboard, so like that. Console input output devices. This is keyboard and mouse. So in order to take over control on these devices here, console. Console write line in the sense to display something else. Console read line in the sense to read something from the keyboard. So this is how the simple statements, exercise we have seen here. Is it right? Here one more thing, namespace do while. I can give one more module here. I can give this program and put into one module here, because in software what happens, a small programs can be, split. A big program is split into small programs. That's called as modules here. And all these modules will be combined together, okay, that we integrate together to build one single big software here. So because the big software cannot be built by a single person on the same day, usually the project is split into small manageable modules here, and that is assigned to several people. So this you create this module. You gentlemen, your master in this, you just create this particular model. So like that, team manager split that whole project into small manageable modules, and he distributes among several software engineers. And then every engineer will create that particular model and test it here. After everything is available here, we have to integrate. We have to put together as a single whole. So that time, all those modules we integrate. So here I can give one name to that. That is called as namespace do while. So this particular module name is do while. In that, this is a program name. So this is what name of that particular. In that module, one small program is there. Okay, one program. And in that, there is a main and some statements, executive statements available. So this, but usually in our lab experiment, we don't use this here. Therefore, first program, I have not used it here. Instead of just creating unnecessary burden or confusion, I have removed it here. You can remove it. It will execute, no problem. Okay. So this is what exit control, semicolon is put here. Okay. This statement will be executed at least once. Exit control, done. So this is also called as decision making and looping. I'm going to take a decision here, and depending on the decision, I just keep on executing this statement more than once. Therefore, looping construct. Decision making and looping, iterative statements. Whereas in previous decision making and branching, we are taking the control some other else, end of the for loop or if loop. Branching here, branching is to switch to some other statements, spoil the sequence of execution. Okay, done. Now, for statement, this is also a very popular one. Generally, we use this here because the statement consists of, this is also called as entry control. It works as if a while only loop that provides more concise loop and control stuff. Concise is small, everything is available, same thing. Initialization, condition statement, increment, everything is available in the same statement. This is what? For, you see here, initialization. In while loop, what happened? Initialization was here. Here you have to do initialization before the body starts here. Initialization. Then in this while you put a condition. And then increment here in the body. So everywhere split here. Whereas in for loop, initialization is there, condition is there, and increment or decrement operations also. All three expressions are can written using for loop, and simply they are separated by semicolon. That's all. So it is a concise while loop. Right? For in the sense concise, simple, simplified version. That's all. This is also integral. So therefore, while and for are almost the same. But their usages are different, depending on the requirement. The usages, they play their own crucial role. Anyway, for it is the initialization separated by comma. Condition statement separated by comma. Increment or decrement and then finish. And this is the body of the loop. All these statements will be executed. No increment, decrement inside this body here. Plain it is. All relative statements will be executed. Don't put semicolon here, my dear friends. Even after coming to final year students, I saw many of the students will be putting this for, if you put semicolon here, there is no point in going into block here. There's this, it's a nonsense it is. Totally it is nonsense here. There is no, it won't serve any purpose at all. Don't put semicolon. Semicolon is acting as a special operator. It is terminator. It acts as a terminator simply. Okay. If we terminate here only, this body will not give any sense. It is a nonsense. So therefore, remember, my friends, especially decision making, branching, and if you decision making looping statements will not end with semicolon. ಇದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಕಲೀಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು BCA ಸುಮ್ಮ ಕಲಿದೈತಿ, ಪಾನ್ ಪಟ್ಟಿ ಅಂಗಡಿ, ಜೋಳದ ಅಂಗಡಿ ಮಾರಾಕ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡೋದು. ಸುಮ್ಮ ಬಿಟ್ಟ ಬಿಡೋದು, ತಲೆ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ. Okay, done. description. The for statement execution is a burden, initialization of a control. Burden. Test the condition using control. We'll test the condition. English the burden. If the condition is true, then increment the variable control. If the condition is true here, what happens? I initialize I is equal to 1. I is less than is equal to 5. Done. So what happens initially? I'm not going to increment here. Initialization is an I is equal to 1. I is less than is equal to 5. Condition is true now. 1 is less than 5. I enter into the block here and execute here. After execution here, control comes to this part. Now I increment. This is what you have to understand. Now I am going to so initially control initializes and then check the condition. If the condition is true, I enter it. If the condition is false, I skip everything here. This body skipped it, then I come down here bottom. Okay. Now, if the condition is true, I execute and then again, because condition is true, then control comes here, it increments. Or maybe I can have an decrement here, depending on the situation requirement. So now increment. Again, after increment here, control comes, jumps to the spot. Check the condition, whether this condition is true or false. This is how it works here for loop. There is slight difference in working. So I is less, if condition is true, again enter here. Then again looping construct, it increments the thing here. Again. And after incrementing this, then I control jumps to this condition, test whether the condition is true or false. If it is true, again enter, execute all these things. Then it was true, condition was true. Therefore, control enter increments or decrements here. Again, after that condition is tested. If the condition is false, then I skip this here. So as long as this condition is true, so this execution increment jumping and testing the condition. Again, if it is true, enter, execute this body. Okay, as long ये जब तक जिंदा रहेगा condition, तब तक ये सिलसिला जारी रहेगा सर. Looping construct. So this is what a for loop here. It works. So generally for loop and everything are used for array handling. The same error operation. If you want to add 10 numbers into array here, so you just use for loop here. Suppose I want to display all the content of a record, I use for loop here. Looping construct. From first record to 100 record, I want to print here. So the same, I am printing. So print operation, single operation is done 100 times. Therefore, instead of writing 100 printf statements here, what I do is I put that printf one statement and enclose in for loop here. The same statement is repeatedly made to be executed. I is equal to 1, I is less than 100, I plus plus, print it. Second record, I is incremented, second record. And now again, second record. अभी 100 नहीं हुआ है, तीसरा print करो. Like that, I keep on doing my work here. Done, guys. Now the last one, example node within simple for loop. Print error as usual, everything written in class. This you can skip it here. This line you can, if you skip this here, you just remove this here. This and corresponding opening closing brace, you just remove it here. I just remove it. I don't want this confusion. Module on the single program. We are not a programmer here. Okay, I'm not any software engineer. Simple learner. I'm a student learning simple things here. For loop, do while loop. Okay. So here, as usual, in the class, there is a main here, static, void, main, string, arguments. All this you have to practice here. This automatically comes follow one or two programs if you write down. Don't get confused here. This namespace you have to include here. Without this inclusion here, your program will not work at all. This write line, read line may not work here. But in some say compilers, okay, automatically it takes here. No need to remember. Everything will be displayed. All the skeletal is displayed immediately. Even including this static void, everything will be displayed available. So now array I have used. How it an array is declared here in C#. Now integer a. It is not an ordinary. A is not an integer, ordinary integer, but it is preceded by what? Followed by what? Two conjugative square box, indicating that A is acting as an array here. Array in this sense, more than one homogeneous element I am going to store in that. And its subscript starts from A of 0, A of 1, A of 5. So like that. How many locations you want? You want location 10 here. I just specify. Using this is called a, okay, time is over, I think. Another 10 minutes. I just finished this here. Okay. Okay. So int star A, and now here new is the keyword here. Dynamically you have to initialize this C#. Okay, static initialization is not, because memory is very precious. You have to use it very effectively. Dynamically you have to initialize here. So if you declare statically here, there might be a shortfall of memory or there might be an overwhelm of your storage locations. Therefore, to effectively utilize your memory locations here dynamic memory allocation. So this is what we do, runtime declaration, an allocation of memory. Int A is an array here. How I can initialize it? New is a keyword, dynamic memory allocation. And newly what you are creating? You are creating int of 10 memory locations. So this is how I have to understand it. Okay. Newly I am creating 10 location to act as an array where I am going to store integer data type. And that array name is given as A here. So this is how. Understand? Int bracket int array I want, and that name of the array is A, and I'm going to create newly integer data type for values. Done. So now enter the array element values. This is a message I display on the screen so that user can understand. The programmer who is running the, he can understand. If I skip this here, nothing will happen. But nothing, it just simply cursor will be displayed on the screen. What to be entered, what not to be entered. Nobody knows. So your program should be very interactive. If you go to, ATM, everything will be interactive. Enter your PIN, enter your account number, enter your amount. Everything will be displayed. Unless and until things are displayed on the screen, you will not understand. User is blind otherwise. Therefore, this information is displayed to make it more interactive. Understandability enhances here. Enter the elements of an array. Okay, then for loop, I'm going to read and store everything into the array here. This is how the statement here. How many values I'm going to read? I am going to read 10 values and store into array. Therefore, this is a similar statement, read line statement it is. I'm reading element and storing into an array. This statement is executed 10 times. Therefore, I put this one statement into for loop because it is a decision making and looping construct. So I take a decision. As long as the value of I is less than 10, I keep on executing reading of 10 elements here. Okay. So this is how it is executed. For I is equal to initialization, condition is tested. 0 is less than 10, condition is true, enter here. This is what I use here, int dot parse. Int is small case dot prse parse. This you have to do it here. I and all everything. It requires a lot of explanation. It doesn't require. Int dot parse. You are parsing this is scanning. That's all. I think time up guys, huh? Time ಮುಗಿತ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಿತ್ತಾ ಹುಡುಗರು.
Yes, sir, maybe.
Okay, okay, this is how I do it here. Okay, console dot write line for memory printing, this is for read line printing, and you just parse it here. Int dot parse. This is whatever you did that is in star. What we call it as character that is converted into integer here. So you read that character and store into a of array, that is a of 0, a of 1, a of 2. So like that, whatever you type from the keyboard, that is converted into integer and stored into array here. So a of 0, a of 1, up to a of 9 here. Once the value of I is equal to 10 here, I come out. So 0 to 9, 10 values. I print it. I am just printing here. Console dot write AI. Okay. So this concatenation symbol is required here. Okay. Otherwise, previous value will be overwritten. Overwritten. Okay. This is just practicing. Okay. That's all. Reading 10 elements and storing into parsing and converting into integer and storing into array. This is what you have to use here. How to read element and convert that into integer. Because everything is character here in C#, that you have to convert it into integer. That is what this int dot parse will do that. That character is converted into int automatically. Int dot parse. And after reading, first this you read that is converted into integer and then it is assigned to. In this way you have to understand. Read the character from the user, convert that or parse that into integer type, and then assign it to array. That's all. In this way, reverse you have to understand. So easily you can understand. Read line, console.read line, and whatever the letter you read it, that is a character that I have to convert it to integer. That is int dot parse, and after converting the integer, I'm going to assign to integer array here. That is a of I. Okay, I is the subscript here. Okay, subscript is starting from 0 because array subscript always starts from 0 in C also. Therefore, a of 0 up to a of 9. Once the value of I reaches to 10, that is I is equal to 10. Here, I will not put equal to, less than. This is very important. If you put equal to, your 11 values will be read and displayed. They're very simple. So therefore, just to read 10, I just put it less than. This is the logic here I use. And just I am printing here. Same. Iterative statement, for loop, initialization, condition statement. Condition statement tested, print it here. Again, control comes back here, increment the value. After incrementing, test the condition. Condition is true, enter, print it here. Come again, increment it here. After incrementing, check the condition. 6 is less than 10, done. Print it. A of 6, 7, increment 7. 7 is less than 10, of course. As long as condition is true, 8, 9, done. Once, what about 10? Is 10 is less than 10? Condition false. Out. Meantime, I skip it here, come out. This is how this state. Now today I finish it here. For each we'll discuss tomorrow. Huh? Stop, guys. Bye.
Okay, sir.
Bye. Take care. Huh?